Welcome back to another episode of the BENCH MOB ENT Podcast, the best sports podcast in New Jersey. If you listening, if you watching, we got the house rules to take care of. Like, share, subscribe. Let the algorithm know this is great content that you want to be able to push out to the masses because we're trying to be here for a good time and a long time. We got a special guest with us tonight. Y'all have seen him plenty of times on here. You love it when we use his content. You love it when we post them. Y'all love the content that we have when he's been on. He's back again, 2025, the first time of many times this year. None other than Chris Lindsey from Chris Lindsey Sports. How you doing?
I'm good. What's going on, y'all? What's up?
Let's get into it. We got a jam-packed episode for y'all today. We're going to be touching on the Wemby injury, and it's a lot outside of the Spurs that affects the whole NBA. So we're going to look at that whole landscape. We're going to look at All-Star Weekend, what worked and what didn't work. Some may feel that nothing worked. Some may feel some things work. So we're going to discuss what did work, what didn't work. Of course, we're going to talk about the second half of the NBA and some of those storylines and a lot of stuff. I'm not going to give you everything. I'm not going to give you all the sauce, the secret sauce. So you just going to have to tune in and lock in with us. Wemby, for those that don't know, for whatever reason, if you're a basketball fan, for some reason, you got stranded on an island and you ain't get none of this news. Victor Wembanyama has a form of a blood clot in the right shoulder, out for the season. The Spurs believe it is an isolated incident. This impacts the Spurs and the NBA. For you, right? What's the first impact? What's the first ripple effect from this that comes to your mind of the Wemby injury?
Man, it's a lot that comes to mind. Like, hopefully, pray your hands for him. Hope he's all right moving forward. I know a lot of people were saying this is like something similar that Chris Bosh had a couple years ago. They had to get checked out. So, I mean, he's still young. It's good he's getting it checked out now, and they caught it early, more or less. So, I mean, it's going to have an impact on him. Now moving into next season, they'll have a chance for a full training camp, him coming in healthy, toward the end of the year. No Olympic basketball this year. He could just focus, heal up, and get ready for a run for next year, especially with him and Fox. So I'm looking forward to that more so because, sometimes these mid-season acquisitions can kind of have a good play or, not work out at all at times. But I think, it could be a silver lining in a way. Obviously them catching it, making sure his health is good, make sure his mental's good, give his body a rest. He's been gonna go since he got into the league. So now he can get a full summer of rest, get ready for next season. And, it's going to be scary for the league. You know what I mean? So hopefully he'll come back stronger than ever for sure in year 3.
One of the things that stuck out to me with this is with this injury, it could really get spooky for the rest of the league. The Spurs can mess around and get Coop or Dylan Harper because they have their pick and the Atlanta Hawk pick. Now the Atlanta Hawks, they fluctuating in between playing, not playing. But if the Spurs not having Victor Wembanyama, I can't see them winning that many more games on the schedule left. Of course, you have De'Aaron Fox still. You have Stephon Castle. You have CP3, Shohan. It's some good players there, but Wemby, to throw out a stat on there, it was like the point differential when Wemby was on the court is essentially they're a 47-win team. When Wemby isn't on the court, they're about a 19-win team. So it's that much of a huge difference of having Wemby on the court versus Wemby not being on the court. And also what comes to mind is who's going to be DPOY this year? Because I think a lot of us had him as DPOY. For you, with Wemby being out now, who's your pick for DPOY? And it might be somebody that we talked about earlier this season on the episode, somebody that you mentioned on Threads. It might be one of those two people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we already kind of had alluded to it. We got Jaren Jackson Jr., Evan Mobley. Two guys, their defensive plays contribute to winning. They got top-rated defenses, high seeds in each of their respective conferences. And they even had a sneaky like Dyson Daniels in there, but I know the league isn't really partial to perimeter guys getting it, which honestly I feel like they should get more of a nod because they have to, it's a guard-driven and wing-driven league. But, guys like Jaren and Evan, they can switch 1 through 5. play at a high level and guard everybody. But if I had to pick today, I probably would roll with Jaren Jackson Jr. I think I like what he's been doing. Obviously he's won it before, but if the league wanted to go another route and pick somebody who hasn't won, cool. I even love his mindset. Like even in the All-Star break, he was like, I don't deserve a break, so I'm gonna keep working. You know what I mean? Like mentality that a lot of players have. You got to do the prototypical, I'm gonna post my workout, but that's cool. Like, hey, everybody else in Bali and in Tulum and Mexico, when their team is sub 500, nailing it in. But he's like, nah, I gotta be locked in because he's trying to go on a deep playoff run. Obviously, Evan had All-Star stuff he had to do, so which is an honor in itself. But I mean, he plays with another big with Jared Allen, so that helps out a lot. But then Zach Edey plays too with Jaren. So yeah, it's tough. But if I had to pick today, I will go with Jaren Jackson Jr.
Now the thing too that factors in with Wemby being hurt and now Jaren Jackson Jr. probably being the favorite to actually win it. And like you said, it should be some more love given to the guards and the wings like Dyson Daniels, Amen Thompson. I mean, like those are some wing defenders that really be wreaking havoc on the defensive end. And they'll more than likely they'll make one of the defensive teams. But I think we need to see more that it's an opportunity that they get to be DPOY because we all know pretty much at the beginning of the season, like unless you led the league in steals, you was top 5 in blocks as a guard, and you held Luka to 2 points, you not gonna get the DPOY as an award. But I know Memphis, the front office of Memphis, might be hoping Evan Mobley somehow wins it because if Jaren Jackson wins another DPOY, he is now eligible for that super max. So for some of our listeners and viewers that might want to know the numbers on that, he will be eligible for a 5-year, I believe, wait for it, $243 million contract.
It's a lot of chili.
It's a lot. My bad. I gave a discount. $345 million.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be over 3. Yeah, that's a lot of chili right there, boy.
$345 million. And the thing is, I think he gets that anyway because it's either if he makes DPOY or an all NBA team. He's getting one of those.
Man, shout out to his representatives for holding it down like that, man. Hey, if you negotiate that and it's within his realm of possibility, that makes it even worthwhile. So, he thinking, obviously he want to win, get the award, but he think about that payday. That's a good incentive. And one thing too, he's been healthy. He's, I think, only missed 1 game so far this year, which it shows you his impact. And when him and Ja are together, like we said at the beginning before the season started, when they're together and it just opens up his entire game. Like, everything, he's able to focus on what he's good at, what he's best at and do other little things too. So that works out really good.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's going to get it regardless. And honestly, you can say, and I'm gonna find the exact account name because I don't want to butcher it, not get nobody love. I don't know how to say the name, but AKIS NBA _
Oh yeah,
talked about it today.
Mm-hmm.
Jaren Jackson Jr., you can argue, has been the actual best player for the Grizzlies this season, and they're a top 3 seed. Ja has been in and out the lineup, which unfortunately that's been his story of his career so far is the injuries in and out the lineup. I do like at least this year it's not in and out the lineup because of off the court things. It's more so things that you can't control at times. From all accounts, it looks, from what we know, he puts in the work, he takes care of his body. Just some accidents, some nicks that is holding him out the lineup. One of the other things that trickles down from this, and I'm interested to see what you think on this, they were fighting for a playing spot, the Spurs. I think it's safe to say most would think they don't get that playing spot, and they kind of would be behooved as a franchise, not the players, because the players don't tank, behooved to actually not get into the play-in, not make the playoffs to get a higher draft pick. Who do you think, though, actually benefits from this with them not being in that play-in race?
As far as like the team that they possibly will play against, like in the higher seeds?
Anybody that they fight with, like I know Golden State is at the
bottom.
bottom.
Yeah, like Phoenix and all those guys. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like getting into any type of win scenario game, like one elimination game against the Spurs. Anything can happen, especially with Wemby. Then you got CP, then add Fox. Those guys can hit big shots, high IQs, it's high stakes basketball. They have no pressure. So whoever they would play against, whether it's the Dubs, the Suns, like the teams that are teetering around there, they have more of the pressure because they have the guys within the last 10 years that we've seen all win at a high level. And they got more of the legacies at stake. Where the Spurs, if they lose, it's like, oh, well, they weren't supposed to be here anyway. They worked hard. It's almost like in the NCAA tournament when you get one of those smaller schools going against one of the bigger schools and they win their first 2 games. And it's like, oh, man, but they got to do all the pressure, all the team that got to win. So I think if you're like Phoenix and the Mavs and the Warriors, you're kind of happy. Not in that it wouldn't be hurt, but it's like, oh, okay, well, we can just beat each other up and we ain't got to worry about them. Because again, he could go off and do anything. And then you got to guard that. And a lot of them don't have the personnel, especially with the Mavs being down 3 bigs. The Suns already had bigs issues and the Warriors don't have any. So I think that kind of spared them a little bit.
Looking at those 3 teams, right? Which of those 3 do you think actually don't make it? Because right now, Phoenix is not even in the play-in. They on the outside looking in, and they got their own set of problems with, we put KD up for trade. Obviously, rightfully so. KD didn't like to hear that I was in trade talks when I chose to come to Phoenix. It hasn't worked out. They big 3. Warriors, they over there they high. We got Jimmy Buckets over here. We 4-1. We loving life. Draymond guaranteeing championships and whatnot. Out of those 3, Dallas dealing with injuries. Who do you think doesn't actually end up making the playoffs?
I think I said it earlier on Threads today. I said Phoenix. I think they almost have to play near perfect basketball in order for them to even get in that spot. And they kind of dug themselves in such a hole that they have to play like margin free. And their era of margin is very, very small. And it could be, someone has an off shooting night and that messes up everything for them. Where with the Mavericks, it's like, okay, we've seen Derek Lively be out for months already. We've seen Daniel Gafford get hurt. We've seen AD get hurt. You can get a little bit more grace with that. It was like, well, we see them. They're hurt. Like, you know what I mean? So if they miss it, it's like, all right, for sure. With the Dubs, getting Jimmy, just the way that they play with him, it's going to take them a few more games. I would say give it like another 5 to 6 more to really see if they can do it. But, I mean, they got good momentum being 4-1. I mean, as of right now, they're beating the Mavs by like 19, almost 20 points, so which is good. And it's their first home game with Jimmy, so that's also a nice thing. And I think if the Mavs don't make it, they're just undermanned, and it's like, oh well, it's all right. But with the Suns, with everything that they're going through, they have to play almost like they would have to win. They have to go on a crazy win streak or only lose just a couple of games. They can't win 2, and then go 1-1 after that, and they have to win at least 5, 6, 7 just to make themselves get the momentum they need going into the playoffs or the play-in since they're going to be there. But yeah, I would say if I had to pick, it'd probably be Phoenix.
There's not that many games left after this All-Star break to try to figure it out, and they haven't figured it out pretty much up until this point. I got them too not making the playoffs because it's like, for whatever reason, they haven't been able to figure it out with those 3, so much so that they had to put Bill on the bench. Like, all right, we got to figure something out to make it work. Granted, KD has been injured here and there throughout the season. Bill has been going through injuries throughout the season. They might be able to have a stretch where they started off 8-1. Maybe they go on a stretch 9-1, 8-2, because they're going to need it to actually get into just the conversation of the play-in to be able to possibly be in the playoffs. And even if they make it, you're talking about seeing OKC, possibly Denver first round. Maybe if my Lakers move up to the top 2 seed, it's not going.
It's not a reward. It's not a reward. It's not a reward that you want. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
it's not gonna go how y'all
that's
think.
what they're playing. Yeah, exactly. And think about it. The Lakers in the last couple of years have had to deal with that outside of their run. They went to the conference finals. It's like, okay, we have to almost play mistake-free playoff type basketball a month and a half earlier than everyone else. And playing that at that high optimum level, then you burnt out by the time the playoffs come, and that's when you end up getting swept. That's when you end up, getting gentlemen swept. or you just be so fried you can't even do anything else. Cause like I gotta play April, May basketball all the way in February and March just to kind of get us in the conversation. So it depending on how strong your schedule is, and sometimes the Suns lose to bad teams, or they're in close games. Like they were in a close game yesterday with Chicago, and it's like you guys got the talent and they lost with their best player, but what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's not a coaching thing, it's just the way they play. Like they just rely heavily. They tried to, they address their point guard issue with getting Tyus. And yeah, so I don't know what it is. I was high on them earlier in the year, before all the injuries started piling up, because it looked like it was kind of working a little bit more, but it just kind of all fell through. And this just shows you that era of being top heavy is over in the NBA. Like you really need depth to win. So they lost a lot of that.
Just looking ahead, because it's been rumored, and just to have your opinion, your thoughts on it. It's been rumored that this is the last time we're going to see KD in the Phoenix Suns jersey. With the rumors of that going on and him being put on the trade block, which he didn't appreciate, rightfully so, do you think we see KD move? And if he does, where do you think would be a good fit for, what would that be, 36, 37-year-old Kevin Durant?
Man, that's tough. Like I really don't know. It'll be if he gets traded, in the offseason, it's like whatever team he goes to is gonna take away all their capital. It's gonna take away a lot of their players, and he'll kind of be back at square one again, like he is in Phoenix. So whatever team is willing to make that move, maybe Miami or something, if they want to, kind of, keep Tyler and Bam together and add him to kind of see where that goes. And maybe you can move Wiggins and some other guys just so, and that was where Book was a little bit more successful when he had a little bit of those protective wings over there. But yeah, if he is moved and they grant it, I mean, yeah, I'm just sure for him, he just didn't want to get traded in the middle of the season all over again. Like, it had nothing to do with Draymond or whatever they were trying to put in there. But it's like, bro, I'm older. Like, if I'm gonna get traded, just okay, fine. Let me just let the season end. I'll still play for you, but then we could work it out. Like he's always been. I mean, he's only been traded mid-season once, and we see what it did. And they had a nice little run that year when he got traded to Phoenix. But yeah, I would say a team that could use him would be like Miami or something like that, which probably would help out. But yeah, that's the team I would pick so far.
Yeah, he just understands. Even if he was a young spring chicken, those mid-season additions, if you're not already one of the top teams and you have that room for error, all right, we probably shouldn't make that trade, because him specifically going to Golden State, they're fighting to be a part of the play-in. Possibly, let's see if we can get a 6 seed. That now takes away, you got to build that chemistry and figure it out. So sometimes it doesn't work out, and it's not like he has time to like, all right, let's try it next season. At that point, look, let's just trade me the off season, and I'll have a whole off season with this team, a whole training camp going into it, and see if we can make it work. So I agree and understand why he was like that. Miami would be a good fit. Shoot, if somehow they could figure it out, if he could come back to Golden State, that would be a good fit to help Steph, Jimmy, Draymond try to get one more out of there. But there's a lot of teams I think that really could use them. It would just have to be a good structure and setup where it's like, y'all understand that's not the number one option in regards of the KD of old before injury, where he's a
Right.
rim protector and he's doing things of that nature. If you want to have a mercenary come in and you need somebody to be a straight killer, and in that fourth quarter, we need you to go, hey, can you get the sniper out and finish the game? All right, cool. Bring KD. But if you bring a KD over and we need you to go win, we're seeing it in Phoenix. You surround him, great. Out of the three greats that we have left, the OGs, I think he more than Steph and Bron is in that position of, hey, put me around some team, other killers, and let me pick my spots more than Steph and Bron. I think they both are in a situation of let me pick my spots, but I feel Steph We seen it this year. Steph still got some stuff in the tank. Like if I need to be the number one for 3/4 out of the 4, call me. I'm your man. LeBron. Hey, let me remind y'all. I'm gonna go drop 40. So now I have 2 games of 40 plus at 40 years old. I think they're more in that realm. And plus, they have less injuries. They haven't been injured as of really late like KD has. KD already had a couple injuries this year. So no knock on him. But out of those 3, I think they're in better positions ending off their career so far. Looking at it, I just mentioned the big 3: Steph, KD, Bron. Bron ain't show up to play. He showed up, but he didn't show up to play. That was one of the things where people say that was what was wrong with All-Star Weekend as well. For you, we're gonna start with the positive. What do you feel went well for All-Star Weekend?
Man, a couple of things did go well, but before I say that, I just realized I put my old name in here. It's actually Chris Lindsey Hoops, not Chris Lindsey Sports. So make sure, if you follow this one right here, it's not gonna work. You got to put hoops at the end. That's my bad. I just realized that when I was looking. I'm like, I can't change it now. But anyway, to answer your question, some of the positive things that I saw during All-Star break that I really like, first and foremost, my man Rush. Seeing him out there doing his thing, looking comfortable, interviewing players. He had the big threads microphone. Looked like a pro out there. We need him working the sidelines. You know what I mean? That was good. I love seeing that. And
Shout
then
out Rush.
yeah, shout out Rush, man. And everybody else who was out there at All-Star break too. All-Star weekend holder down in San Fran for everybody, NBA threads. We see y'all. But one thing I did like, it was more off the court stuff, like all the activations, all the little brunches and seeing stuff like that, and opportunities that people got to do. I thought that was really cool. As far as the game goes, format wise, I understand, what they were trying to do, but just the execution probably wasn't the best. But maybe it might take a couple seasons of them trying that to see what it is. But yeah, I would say literally those are probably like the only positive things. It was just all off the court stuff, bro. Like on the court, it was looking real tricky out there, to say the least.
I'd say one of the things that went well, Stephon Castle's weekend, really good dunk contest by him. The Rising Stars competition MVP, actually being able to play in the NBA All-Star game, which some vets did not approve of, but
I'm gonna get
that
to
went,
that.
yeah, that went well for for him personally. That went well. For those that are into Bay Area hip hop, that was a win for Bay Area hip hop. E40, we've seen, of course, the anthem for the weekend was basically Blow the Whistle,
Yeah,
Sweetie.
yeah, yeah.
Everybody from the Bay Area that was able to perform or had their hand in some type of things with music and performing and all of that, big win for them. I think also one thing I would have to put in there, it was a win for Mac McClung. That went well for him, because against some people not liking that he not even in the NBA and he's in the dunk contest. For him personally, you're a 3-time NBA dunk champion coming from the G League. 98% of the G League don't even get to be there unless they bought a ticket to be in the arena. So for him to
That's
actually
facts.
be in the G League and actually win it 3 times in a row, that went well this weekend.
Yeah.
Now, transitioning to the hard facts, the honest truth. What didn't go well in your eyes for All-Star Weekend?
Well, again, I'm not gonna be no hater. I'm not gonna talk too crazy, because I always can appreciate an attempt when something is trying to be done. I appreciate an attempt, and I get it. Like it was the last year of it on TNT, so they had to celebrate those guys for holding it down the last 20 plus years. So that was really nice to see. Could they have done it maybe pregame? Sure. Could they have done it maybe at halftime instead of a halftime show, or shortened the halftime show and did that? Sure. Even after the game, absolutely. But they didn't, and we're not going to see nothing like that again. So whatever, that's fine. Like we can give them that. The format was okay, more or less. Like I get it was to incentivize. You saw little spurts of some hard play there for
Mhm.
guys wanting to win. I even think I kind of agree with Draymond just a little bit about the young guys like playing on Sunday. Like that's typically reserved for the star of stars, like, those 24 guys who earned it throughout the season. And I think, I don't know, like, I don't think they receive an all-star nod or the honor, the
Yeah, I
young
don't think
guys
that.
getting to be
Yeah,
there. Okay, yeah, because I was like, if you're a
that
rookie and
that
you play in that, and then come on,
that better
bro.
not. I bet that better
That would
not.
be crazy. Imagine, like, no disrespect, you Trace Jackson Davis, and you're like, bro, I'm an all-star. Price is up. Like, what we doing? Like, you said in my contract,
Imagine
if I'm an
that.
all-star, I get, what are we doing? You know what I mean? But that, I would say just those little small things. Like, I try to look at the big picture. I understand what they're trying to do. So I'm not gonna be no hater or like bash it or anything. It's just I'm just not the targeted demographic. So I just want to
I
hoop,
didn't.
man. I just want them to hoop.
I didn't. I think one of the things that I didn't really like either. Too, the Rising Stars game wasn't the best, and that's supposed to be again, the Rising Stars, the next generation. Like, all right, we get kind of the OGs and the people that had there in their 15th All Star, and they have all of the, you got to go kiss babies and open up this basketball court. You got to go cut the ribbons here and sign people's
Paint the
stomach.
school.
Yeah, it's a bunch they got to do within like 3-4 days. I get it for those that's been doing it for 15 years. But the Rising Stars, like, we had 4 attempts for game winners. One of them was an air ball. Even I think it was Asar went like 1 for 5 from the free throw line. In the Rising Stars game, I was like, nah, that part wasn't good. I wasn't really a fan of that. And like you said, the long intermissions, bruh. Somebody broke it down. It was literally about, on Sunday, I believe they said, it was only really about 32 minutes of actual gameplay versus all of everything that was going on, this and TNT and this and that. That was
Kevin
around
Hart.
35 minutes.
Really? Oh
It was
yeah. See,
more
and
than
wow.
the actual gameplay.
Oh yeah. See, that can't work. And then you had the Kevin Hart thing, which I get. Like, first, I'm like, does he have a special coming out? Like, is he trying to sell us something? Like, Think Like a Man 4, is that coming out? Like, I don't know. I'm like, if it was 2012 and this was going on, I get all the emotion. He was popping at that time. You know what I mean? I get he's friends with all the guys there. They're going to get the jokes off. But a lot of this generation don't know Kevin Hart like how we were introduced to Kevin Hart. You know what I mean? In the late 2009, 10 or whatever, when he really had it. But I mean, it was cool, I guess. But going back to your point too about the Rising Stars, you even kind of get that trickle down in what's the thing in the off season? Summer league.
Mm.
It's like the second year guy won't play, and he's iced out with his new Bottega jacket on, with his earrings, and I'm like, bro, you guys won 5 games last year, and you over here sitting like you big man on campus. Like, you should be out there playing with these dudes to gain chemistry. This is why your first 2-3 years you only win a total of 38 games. Like, but and that goes down from the organizational standpoint. And I get it. You don't want guys to get hurt because you got numbers and oh, I got a soft tissue thing. You out in Vegas. But I just feel like there's no pride in it anymore because dudes is, I don't know if it's because they're making so much money. I just think the league doesn't sometimes put that importance on there for them to want to care, especially like even with All Star now, it's just a big corporate event where you gotta, like you said, kiss babies if you're the big name guys, and then you gotta go to your shoe brand deal, activation over here, and then you gotta go to this place and that place. And sometimes that can be exhausting. The last thing you want to do is hoop. So now it's like, now I gotta go lace them up. Like, let's say you played on Thursday night in Miami, and now you got to get on the PJ and fly all the way to San Fran, and you play double overtime, but you're the star player. And then, just like in school, you see your friends, but hey, bro, I'm about to go on vacation. Hey, you enjoy that All-Star game. I'm gonna go on vacation and get back. You see what I mean? Like, mentally, you like, dang, bro, he get to leave. I gotta go do this. This is my 18th time doing this. Like, all right. But then you show up, and then you gotta, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Nice to meet you. As Trey always says, around those times, it's the what's good Olympics. Like, everybody's just, oh, what's good? What's good? Oh, yeah, what's going on? How you doing? Yeah, get my number, follow me. Like, that gets exhausting. Then you got to talk, you got to do podcasts and stuff like that. And then the commissioner and the NBA is like, hey, make sure you guys play hard, but do all your other stuff too. And they're like, bro, all right, hand me my shoes, bro. Give me my shoes. Let me go out here. And then I'm going to do just whatever. You know what I mean? So if maybe that they can extend the All-Star break, kind of like what Steve Kerr said, even the trades deadline being done in that off time to make it logistically easier, that could be something that could be done just to kind of add that back in there. Because now it's just like a big spectacle.
Yeah, they got to figure something out because even if you are your first year there and it's your first All-Star, you excited and all, but depending on who you are, even the Tyler Harris of the world, you still had some stuff to do. You had some things to take care of. You got to show up to this event. You got to show up to that event. Even if it's not even for you, like you're representing the Heat there. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Or CAA or whatever, company or whatever your representation is. It's like, oh, I got to go to the boardroom party because, I'm signed to Rock Nation and they got a brunch. Clutch got a brunch. I got to go to Underdog Fantasy because I'm sponsored by dudes are brands now. And you could be the dude on the end of the bench and have a signature shoe and be a brand guy. Like, you know what I mean? So, and you got to show up and people want to see you. They want to meet you. And it's like, oh, I guess I'll still hoop, but whatever. It's like
That's
2K, bro. It's
Yeah,
like
that's the
side
thing.
quest.
Yeah, it's like with that, I'm not negating that we want to see people play hard. That's point blank period. We just want to see an actual good game, competition, some good bump from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. Even if it was like back in the day, sometimes it was like, all right, we know fourth quarter, they lock it in. Even if it's just that, maybe you don't give it to us all 4 quarters, but at least that last quarter, you give us what we actually want, some good bump. And it's interesting because the players, a lot of them said afterwards that they didn't like the format. Well, y'all need to have a meeting. I don't know if Adam Silver isn't talking to them in the offseason, but y'all can't be like, y'all didn't like the game when they changed the format because of a lot of the players. So I don't know. They have to figure something out regarding All-Star. And I think one of the things too, like you mentioned, maybe you extend it because it's not really actually, y'all call it All-Star break, but it's not a break for a nice, what is that? Including the rising stars, 30, 40 players in the NBA, they don't get that break versus when you look at the NFL, Pro Bowl and all that, that's at the end of the season. So even though for safety issues, they don't have an actual game because people will be getting rest in peace, Sean Taylor.
Right.
And whatnot.
Yeah, we can't do that.
we can't have that happen.
We can't have that, bro. I'm trying to get a contract, or like Drew Brees. Remember, didn't he break his arm or something like that?
Yeah, like you can
man.
We talking about in the Pro Bowl, people getting life-threatening injuries. Nah, that's not. We can't have that. I don't know. Maybe they move All-Star Weekend to the end of the season. I don't know, but something has to change, especially because it's not fair to the people that are actually a part of it. They don't get a break, like you said. The players like Bron. I'm in here 25 years.
Bro, he burnt out. He like, bro, what are you gonna show me or tell me? I got everything, bro. Like, and I think too, it's just hard to really get guys to really buy into that, or it would just to see the importance of it fully. Because again, I think even like KD said that, like people just care about trade deadlines and playoffs and play-ins and stuff like that. They don't care about the rest of the season because it's not valued as much because they just report on everything else. Because I was looking back, like with in the last couple of years, like the last really good All-Star games was 2018 when they had it in LA. That was a close game, came down to the last shot. And that was the first year they did the whole captain's thing, which got guys still going. Because remember, they changed it because 2017 in New Orleans was so bad. That's when they almost had almost 200 points in 2017. That's when the Boogie trade happened right after, and he got told at the presser, then all that was going on. So 2018, when it was in LA, they had captains. Hey, Bron, Steph, pick who you want. That gave excitement. 2019 was the second year of it in Charlotte. That was a really good one. I think LeBron's team was down, and then he came all the way back. Him, KD, Kawhi, Dame, Bradley Beal, I think, Ben Simmons, like they all came back. I think 2020, obviously, you had the one in Chicago where they honored Kobe and with the Elam system and really tried to do that. And they did that specifically, I think, for Kobe, like the Elam system ending, because it was fine. Like I said, 2018 and 19 was fine. So they tried to do something else in 2020. Then 21, that was like a COVID year, the weird one. What was it? Like, not Chicago. It was Atlanta. That one was kind of weird. You know what I mean? There wasn't no fans there. They did the 3-point stuff all at halftime. It was just like they were trying. And then 22, they played with a lot of pride with that one. in Cleveland because, you know, it's 75 years and everything like that. Like that was a really, really good one. Yeah, Steph going crazy. Was it 23 was Utah? Dudes was flying again into a cold city. Then you go to Indiana the next year. Like it was snowing. It's February. Like we don't want to be out here in the snow and doing all this stuff. So now they're back out here in the West, but then it was raining in San Fran. And now hopefully when they come to LA in 2026, we give them some good weather because, you know, I'm going to be there. You know, I'm going to check it out. Lord willing, I'm going to have me a little lanyard, you know, press pass. I'm working on it, though. It's going to work out. It's going to work. I'm going to see you there. You going to be there. You know, all of us going to be there. So, but yeah, I don't know, bro. It's broken. I'm sure all of us got a million and solutions, but it's just tough.
Hey, they need to have a sit down. Adam Silver, pull out the black card. Tell everybody to order whatever they want to order. Y'all have a lunch. If it needs to turn into lunch and dinner, and y'all really break it down with the faces of the league, the Brons, the Stephs, and some of the younger players too that's coming up because Bron and Steph, they can have their opinion on it, but they're going to be out the door in the next couple of years. So y'all need to have presently in the future, what can we do to make this product better for y'all to actually want to play? Like, I don't think they go into it like, we want to make sure this weekend suck and the fans are upset.
No,
I don't think they go into it with that mindset. But it's a lot. It's a lot to ask of them.
Yeah.
So definitely.
And I think they're just the way the game is covered throughout the year. They get burnt out on it like we do. It's not about the game anymore. It's about everything else that don't have to do with basketball. And, you know, I think a lot of the betting and all that other stuff added in a whole sector of fans that don't want to watch the sport. They just want the big stuff to happen. So if you could watch, and they promote it so much, it's like if you could watch the game and make money, but not watch it because you love it, then that draws people away. You know, every other ad is sponsored by a gambling site and it just hits you across the head. And it's like, okay, like I get it, like for that audience, but now you're bringing in a whole cluster of people who don't even like the sport fully. They just want to get a quick dime off of it. You know what I mean? And that kind of makes it to where players is like, bro, I don't want to do this because someone's like, hey, I got 5,000 on you, Steph, if you wear your mouthpiece on the left side, not the right side. And those dudes have so much money, they can sit closer to the floor. And the players is like, what, bro? Like, I don't care about your parlay. Like, that's all they care about. Football players don't have to hear about it. You know what I mean? Because there's such a gap between baseball, probably not as much. But basketball, like if you got money to sit that close, you already know you probably betting more or less to sit there. You're not there for the experience. So, and then you got to show everybody how much you made. So I don't know. It's like a hamster wheel. Like we ain't never going to have no answer. It's going to take years.
I know analysts and podcasters like Bill Simmons and all of the OGs that have been doing this for a minute. Jalen Rose even talked about it at different times of when they started to do this, sports getting in bed with the gambling sites. We know it was to get the bigger bag and things of that nature. But I don't think it's as much of an issue in MLB. I haven't heard much, but I know NBA and NFL, you might not hear it in a big arena like that. They got helmets on, things of that nature. But they bold enough to go on Twitter talking about, yo, you messed up my parlay. You ain't get 65 yards rushing today. I think that part also, like you said, is not a good part of the game that's came with it. I get it, the business side of it, completely get that aspect, but I don't think it was fully factored in of counting the cost of what this could do for your players, your employees, and how they have to deal with this, how this makes them feel, how they have to approach this, having fans sometimes being kicked out of arenas because they're out there tweaking. I saw somebody and I was cracking up with my wife. Somebody put up a tweet. It was like, yo, this is before the season started. And they brought back the tweet. It's like, I got 10K on Victor Wembanyama winning DPOY. Only way that doesn't happen is an act of God. And then the injury came out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, man.
Yeah, that's what. Now you 10K in the hole, my boy. Maybe that's light to you.
Right. But still, that's again the integrity of it is gone, and then you can't like say, oh, hey, we need everybody in the NBA to go on a diet, but we're sponsored by a candy company, and then the players are soon gonna fall victim. Exactly. It's like they're going to fall victim to that stuff, because again, if you're an end of the bench guy, look at Jonte. Is that his name, Jonte?
Yep,
Yeah,
Jonte Porter.
Porter. Yeah. So it's like if you are end of the bench guy and a two-way player making a minimal contract, and then you get some dude that's like, listen, all you got to do is put your left shoe on and change it and put the right one on instead. I give you 500,000 if you enter the game like that. You know what I mean? Or if you miss this shot, or if you fake an injury, because I need you to. So you thinking about that? I'll deposit it in your account. The big guys ain't gonna worry about that. They already getting to the money already. But I can see how it can be appealing. But then everything on the league is like, here, bet this, and they even cut on TNT. All right, Chuck, what's your bets for the game? And he a bad gambler, and he yelled guarantee, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like this, what happened to the game I love, man?
No, that was never a thing. But even now, again, the business side of it, TNT had to get involved. All right, we're gonna have a part in the show where we like, all right, Chuck, what's your picks for the night? I got Lonzo Ball over 17 and a half assists. And hopefully nobody listening to Chuck. Hopefully nobody's
Listen,
putting in parlay
man,
based on what Chuck is saying. But I've noticed that too, because I remember that was never a thing, but now it's on
everywhere.
everything. They got it in segments of First Take. They got it in segments
Yeah.
and all things for it's literally
ESPN Bet with Stephen A. Smith. Hey, or they even have alternate broadcasts that
just for that.
have like what are we doing?
Just,
What are we
just
doing?
for that.
You see what I'm saying?
Hey, let's update you right now. The Knicks is down by the Celtics. Actually, the spread now is -12. Like that, bro.
And then again, then you get the people who got the chili and the money to do that, and they go
Some of
out
them don't.
there.
Some of
And
them
some of
don't.
them don't. It's
Over
just
there.
and then they read the disclaimer. If you know somebody that's gambling, I'm like, all right, bro. Like whatever. But yeah, it's tricky. I think that's one of the major issues. I'm sure as we move on, hopefully they can see. But as you know, all money ain't good money. So it seemed like they took the short end of the stick and made a deal that they probably didn't think too broadly of, and that now they're kind of suffering the consequences for it. Directly, indirectly, some people may not see it like that, but the sector of real hoop heads, that people that love the game, that's the ones you turning off because you're appealing to everybody else. But I guess I
Also,
don't
the
know.
other aspect of just in any line of business, your employees, how is it affecting your employees, the policies or the things that you're doing to
Yeah,
the company? Too many players, like I said, NBA, NFL, getting death threats and things of that nature. Like NFL jokers was robbing Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce house because they wasn't hitting their parlays. That's getting out of line. Like I know y'all
that's
didn't think it would go
crazy.
to that extreme, but this is what
But that's
happens
the
when you
door you open. That's the portal you open. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you just got Thanos'
open the
glove and you
Pandora's
put that
box.
stone in there. Yeah, and it's like, well, whatever. And it's like, where were these gambling people hiding at? And it's like, bro, we been here the whole time. But now they gave us a microphone and some lights. Oh, we really about to show
We
y'all.
we was just going to the bookie at the bodega. We was going to the
That
bookie at
was
the
it, bro.
bodega. Now y'all
We was
got it.
talking to my mans. I got
It's
on
on my
my
phone.
phone.
Oh,
Exactly.
I
I could
bet.
just and I could sit there in real time and just get this and then make a bet at the game. And then I have the potential to win money. Remember, this was only just a thing with boxing. This is when people were like, oh, well, boxing, UFC, it goes to Vegas. Some people will take their whole thought of what they feel on a team will win. Well, Vegas says da 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 da. Or we seen referee so and so walking in a casino. So that just means he can't. Like it becomes not a. You see how far away we get from the game. Like we're not even worried about the
Yeah.
matchups. We worried about everybody else. But we could spend all day on this, bro. But you already know, man. It's just got
Yeah,
me hot.
that's a episode in itself right there.
Man, yeah, we're gonna have to run that. And then I'll have the right name again. It's Chris Lindsey Hoops, not Chris Lindsey Sports. That's my fault.
We'll tag it. We'll make sure he's collaborating on the post. I read it too, and I was like, wait, I'm
I
gonna
was
say
tripping.
Chris Lindley Sports, but I thought
I
it
was
was hoops,
tripping.
but
Yeah, that was my bad. I was
I
tripping.
was
And I was
like,
like, oh.
maybe he's going back making a change. Let me just
Yeah,
read
that
what
was
I see on the
yeah.
screen.
I'm tripping. It's Sunday, man. It's Sunday, bro. It's been a minute. It's my first time this year, so I'm acting brand new and I'm acting old and brand new, But yeah, anyway.
Speaking of brand new things / old things coming back. NBA, for those that missed it in July, they announced that they're going to have an 11-year deal with NBC and Amazon Prime. NBC had games before. Prime has always had the opportunity where you could get the league pass through Prime, but now they get their own specific games. Break it down for y'all. 25 to 2025 to 2035-36 season will be with NBC, Peacock, and Prime. NBC is going to distribute up to 100 games. Amazon will get up to 66 games. On the NBC front, so far, they got Reggie Miller, Mike Tirico, Jamal Crawford, Noah Eagle, and there's rumors of Jalen Rose being put a part of that broadcasting team. On the Amazon side, they've only announced so far Taylor Rooks, Blake Griffin, and Dirk Nowitzki. What's your thoughts on NBC and Prime being involved with it now and how the sport is being covered?
What's that old meme that D-Way said? Let's get back to the essentials. And if you see, they have a chance to do things the right way this time, kind of reinvent some things. They got players, former players that people recognize, you know what I mean, over time, over the last 20 years, which is really good. And the people they pick don't seem like they're going to be the type to bash the game. You know, if you really watch broadcasts or been watching the league over 20 something years, you've heard Mike Tirico on ESPN numerous of times. You know, Taylor Rooks is a star, whatever sport that she does. You know, I even heard the rumor they're trying to get Gilbert Arenas. He mentioned that they reached out to him. But just the fact, like, even if he accepts it or not, just the fact that they're going that route where they're going, okay, who's the intellectual guys? Who's going to be our hot take guy? Who's going to stir up some things? Who's going to be good for TV? And they're reaching out to Jamal Crawford. Great speaking voice. He's been working with TNT, NBA TV, does stuff for MSG at times. It's like they're really focusing on the brand, and hopefully we get some of the storytelling back. I love Dirk coming in, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm like a nerd, so I love like the graphics, the overlays, the commercial breaks, pre-game, halftime, post-game. Like, I don't want the people talking about the game to be the character. I want the players to be the focal point. And just watching how NBC does their football broadcast, amazing, right? They always have a nice story. It's curated well. It looks good. Having that on Peacock is nice. Amazon, even with them. So, you know, they throwing bags at people. You know, Cassidy Hubbard, I believe, is heading over there as well, which is really good. And then I did read that Malika and Brian Windhorst are free agents, or their contracts are up at ESPN, you know, at the end of this season. So we're going to see if they re-up to stay there or if they go somewhere else. But, you know, they're going to have a nice thing of competition, hopefully friendly, healthy competition to help them all to kind of stay better. Because, you know, they're going to see all that discourse. And I do like how I think Amazon's going to get like the new NBA Black Friday games that they're going to have. It's like a new thing called Black Friday games, and they're going to get the in-season tournament or the NBA Cup, I think the knockout round.
Yeah,
They're going to get
quarterfinals, semifinals, I think, something like that.
Right. And then I think the first two rounds of the playoffs are going to be on NBC or something like that. And again, Noah Eagle, we saw him emerge. We all know his pops, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they got that distinct voice. So he does really good. He did great at the Olympics. Even they might throw D Wade in there. So I think they're kind of catering to players who retired within the last 10, 15 years who aren't too far from the older game, but know how to speak highly of the new game. And then also shout out to ESPN for signing Quentin Richardson. That's good. Shout out to him for being able to join over there. But exactly, yeah, knuckleheads, right? But yeah, I like it a lot. I like what they got going. I hope they stick with it. The rollout was really nice that they had so far with like Wemby and JT, you know, and kind of having it on there. I mean, we even watched some of the college games that come on NBC, like, you know, when USC plays, you know, they got a nice thing. And as long as we get the theme song back, no remixes, just keep it OG. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear no new rappers on there, no disrespect. I don't want to hear no trap beat on there. I just keep it the same, bro. Just keep it the same. At least give us that nostalgia. You know what I mean? You know, so hopefully Ahmad Rashad might pop in here and there. Hannah Storm, you know, Bob Costas might pull up or something, you know, just to give us that. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. I've always wanted it to be like that. I remember specifically when it changed from in 02 the last year, because I remember that was when the Lakers did the three-peat and everything was on NBC, and then it went to ABC, and I think it was what's our boy? Man, I can't even think. Al Michaels. I called the finals that year in 03. him and Hubie Brown or something like
Mhm.
that. And then I think Mike Green didn't start until like 06 calling the finals, so yeah, it's nice. It just makes us feel old to see how long we've been seeing 20-year TV deals end, and now it's another one. I'm like, dang, bro, like I remember that specifically, like because I couldn't find the channel. I'm like, bro, I thought those tip off, like remember the games used to be on TBS too and TNT, or you know what I mean, and then they just went all,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's gonna be cool, man. Hopefully they listen to the people, get the right stuff, right people in line. Looks like they're aligning themselves with that too, and we gonna see. Looking forward to it.
Now I'm definitely locked in too because I think it'll be actually a better product in this regard. No disrespect to the TNT crew, but that has kind of transitioned into more of an entertainment space.
It's hijinks, bro.
They're hilarious, great content, funny, but sometimes when it comes to talking the game, if you don't study the game for yourself, if you don't watch the game yourself, sometimes you would think X player is the worst thing in the world. X team is the worst thing in the world. Sometimes you could hear the personal bias, the personal things coming into it. And sometimes respectfully, you could tell they ain't watched the game, even though it could have been Lakers Nuggets on tonight. And they'll literally, you could tell they were in the green room, they wasn't watching the game. We've seen the behind the scenes video sometimes. One of them sleep during the game.
Knocked out. It's your job, bro. This is your job. Like, imagine us just being asleep at work or something like that. And they're like, hey, bro, you on? And it's like, oh, my bad. You just got to make up something. And then you got who you
Bro,
play for, which initially in its inception was funny. You know what I mean? But then now it's like common players, obviously with player movement. But then it just it's been the same thing they've been spewing the last decade. Shaq got to run to the tree and fall. They got to run to the board. You got to make fun of Kenny's knees. Chuck, they got to prank him at some point. It's like, okay, we get it, bro. Like, that was cool before. But I think in the podcast space, in this digital media era, it's changed a lot from how we consume things where people don't really care about that. Or they just want
it's a
the clips.
balance.
They want to clip it. Yeah,
Have a
have the balance.
balance. Have a balance. Of course,
Right.
we get it on the aspect you trying to have views, people tuning in. So of course, they won something like 10, 12 years straight of
Oh,
the
yeah, they going to win
Academy.
that Emmys. Yeah, the Emmys. Yeah, they going to win those.
They won that year after year after year. So I get it in that aspect. You can perceive as the people that's doing the directing, the producing, that all right, this is a product that's working. It's kind of like basically peanut butter and jelly. We just know it's automatically gonna work. And I think they got comfortable in like, all right, we have a formula. 1 + 1 = 2. Let's keep doing that. One
Stick
plus
with that.
one equals 2.
Yeah.
And they kind of got away from the breakdown. Like, have that balance. We don't want to be bored and go to sleep. Of course not. But you could, in an exciting way, in an entertaining way, break down the game.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think we was getting that as much anymore. So no disrespect to them, but I'm intrigued and I'm looking forward to hearing a Dirk Nowitzki break down the game. Taylor Rooks, we don't have to have a discussion about that. Everything she does is absolutely great. That's why you have people coming on talking about they're gonna win 12 championships before they turn 28.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
That's an art. That's an art that
Yeah.
she has.
Making people
That
feel comfortable. You know what I mean? That's just regardless of who it is saying it,
getting
making
people
people, yeah, comfortable. That's a skill for sure in itself
facts.
that a lot of people as an interviewer or reporter don't think of, and then when people can let their hair down and know you got their best interests at heart, that makes them feel good and they can just talk to you. So, I mean, that's what you do, bro. That's what you got that. You got that.
Appreciate
Come on
that.
now.
I'm looking forward to see if they listen to the players and the coaches and change up the format of having the in-game interviews and because I know the coaches and the players, bro, I'm in the heat of the battle. Sometimes you taking me away from my timeout. So like
Like,
I
let the assistant talk or something like that. Some people just, oh no, talk to him. Like, you know what I mean? No, talk to him. And then now you look crazy and you look embarrassed as the reporter, and now you got an attitude on the sideline. But you got to know time, space, possession. Like, I get it. Like, you have that spatial awareness even as a reporter. You know what I mean? But hopefully they got a chance to make it right because when we watch ESPN, a lot of times their studio show doesn't have any former NBA players in there. You got a former WNBA player, and you got Shams, and you got Malika and Bob Myers. And it's like, well, where the former NBA players at? And you get Perk, and he's just out there. I don't like this person. I don't like that person. He's just grumpy, and it's like, all right, like okay, but can we talk? And then they're just commercials the whole time. It'll be during the NBA finals, and it's like we have no breakdown of what happened the first 2 quarters. It's just a bunch of commercials with a bunch of old school pictures of whoever played for that team back in the day, and that's it. Like, I know you remember how the broadcast used to be like before the finals game started. Remember the old like history? They used to show the ball bouncing, and you would
Yup.
see like Dave Cowens, and you throw it to, and then Magic got it, and you see Kobe, and then they'll add in whoever won the champ. Like that was something you looked forward to. Now it just starts. It's like we don't even see starting lineups on TV no more. Think
Exactly.
about it. Like during the finals, like these are the big games. The World Series does it, football does it, the biggest games. We see all that. So I'm hoping NBC, if y'all hearing this, if y'all tapping in, Amazon, please give us some starting lineups. I know League Pass, some people get it, but that's just on the local
That's
level. We want to see it
that's League
nationally.
Pass. That's League
You know what
Pass.
I mean?
Different. That's the look, like you said. That's the Chicago Bulls network setting that up.
Yeah.
That's the
Because when
look.
I watch commercials from over there, I'm like, bro, what place is that to eat at? Like, you know what I mean? Or what is that? Like, this look crazy. But I'm sure when they watch stuff from California, like a Laker or a Clipper game, they like, what is Jack in the Box? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is
Always,
that?
I was about to say that it's always the Jack in the Box commercials.
Listen, man,
Hey,
Jack in the Crack,
if
man.
the away team misses 2 free throws in the fourth
You get
quarter,
free Jack in the
everybody gets a
Box.
free taco from Jack in the Box.
Bro, if you ever come out here, do not get a Jack in the Box taco. It's like the thing is this thin, right? It's super skinny. It's mad greasy. It's like, when you scoop everything that you cooked all day off the griddle
Oh,
and you just put it
nah.
in between the tortilla with some sauce on it. But people eat it up, man. It's a hood classic. It fed a
I'll
lot
keep
of us, bro.
I'll keep that in mind for that. Looking at the
Yeah, for
second
sure.
half, right? Any predictions for post All-Star break? Any of your
Right.
predictions?
Yeah, there's a few of them. I think we kind of mentioned one that, I don't think the Suns are going to make the playoffs. Um, I think no one is scared of the top seeds like Houston and Memphis. I think if you are the Clippers, who've been there before with their nucleus if healthy, I think if you're Golden State, even if you're Minnesota, maybe you really don't fear them as much. And then lastly, the Denver Nuggets. I think with their Achilles heel is going to be their bench depth and Russ, in a good way or a bad way. I just think like if it's a scenario where it's game 5 on the road, 2-2 series, are you going to have straw weather in the game or Christian Brown, or are you going to have Russ and the defense is just in a drop to where they can trip over the cameraman at the baseline? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then he going to shoot it or he going to lose your game. You know what I mean? It's like too much. And if they're wiping out that pick and roll with Jamal and them, it's like, that's a lot of work they have to do. And I don't think they've been able to do that. If you look at their championship year, they had Bruce, they had KCP, Jeff Green. You had guys like that could fill those roles. But now, like even watching just their game when they played against the Lakers, obviously it's one game, and they've been able to had won those games in a row. They played some poor teams, and again, you play whoever's in front of you. You got to get as many wins as you possibly can in the NBA because it's hard to do. But I just think that's something they're really, really going to struggle with. So with OKC, depending on they're going to be a matchup thing. Like
Yep.
you don't want to play Minnesota. Like, you know what I mean? If you're OKC, more or less. But it's all a matchup thing. And now that the Lakers aren't hovering so low down there anymore, and they're a bit higher and potentially can get home court advantage, it's like, if it's a Lakers Clippers thing, it's like okay, they could wash each other out. But if you're Houston and you got to play the 7 seed Warriors, it's like, do you really want to do that? And your guys have never been in the playoffs before. In Memphis, it's like, are you a bad Josh shooting night away from you know what I mean? Or two or three games where he shot the ball bad. Like, what are we doing? So I think those top seeded teams, the younger teams, I don't think they're gonna go as far as where they're at. Mainly in the West. The East a little different, but mainly in the West.
Yeah, those two teams and even OKC, they're great, but we've seen in every sport, soccer, hockey, baseball, football, typically the youngest team in the league doesn't win. Maybe they still make it to the finals, but like you said, matchups, if they get a veteran-led team, like for example, let's say they see the Lakers at second round, that might not go how they think it's going to go, especially being that Luka specifically has their number.
Oh,
And
yeah, he
now
do. He
he got
loved playing
Bron with
against
him.
them. Yeah, come on, bro. That's what I'm saying. The only people that stop Bron, as long as Bron doesn't see the white jersey that says Golden State on the front, and he see 3-5, and he see 30 and 11 and 23, he all right. Like, you know what I mean? He could win. You know, as long as he don't see them, that's fine. But anybody, like, what are you gonna show him that he ain't seen before? It's like Tom Brady, bro. Like, you know, I wrote this book on how to win. Like, you see how this book right here, bro? You not showing me nothing I ain't seen, bro. As long as I don't see them 4 numbers in that Golden State, I'm all right. You know,
Exactly.
but still, I don't think they put a lot of fear in people. You know, so because they're dominating. Yeah, and it's not a knock, but that's just what it is. You got to go through. But they could surprise us, and the team that I think that could surprise us with that would be Oklahoma, depending if it's a matchup thing that they could make a deep playoff run. You know, because I mean, it took KD and them a while too. Because they made their first playoff appearance in 2010 versus the Lakers, and they took them cats 6 games. And they had the Lakers on the ropes. They were a Pau Gasol tip-in, game-winning tip-in away from, you know what I mean? The Lakers couldn't figure them out because they were older and them cats were right there. By 2011, they was in the conference finals. Then the next year in 2012, they were in the finals. So it's like sometimes it takes that, but they're keeping their team together. But it's like you got to rely on Isaiah Joe. Can you hit that swing 3 if Shea is off? Hey, Chet, can you hit that? Hey, listen, bro, it's game 5 on the road. You need to make this. Jalen Williams, can you lock up this? Like, it's a lot of those mental things I don't think a lot of young teams are prepared for, like Houston. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
Houston
Fred, you can do something, but are you going to rely on Jalen Green to have an efficient game 4? Like, you know what I mean? Let's say they lose game 2 and now they got to go on the road and they lose game 3. Now it's game 4. Hey, we need you to score 35 to get us the dub, and you got to play defense. Hey, man, but I've been shooting 25% from 3. I'm shooting a bad fadeaway. Like, you see what I mean? I'm not getting calls. I'm getting texts. Email, you getting pulled and away from people. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be mentally sharp. And again, LeBron, if you put that mental sharpness with Luka, you don't see Luka complaining no more. You know what I mean? At least as of now. I mean, it's only been a few games, but you know, yesterday he kind of started doing it, but he had a couple legitimate gripes so I'll give him that. But still, it's all the mental game, bro.
Even like I said, the veteran teams that's been there, even a Nuggets team could probably surprise one of those 3 younger teams. They got their own flaws and issues. Like I said, the bench depth isn't that great, but Joker is playing like he should get a 4th MVP. So,
Man.
not that he will, but
No.
depending on what happens, some of these voters are trying to give it to him. So,
We gotta
hopefully
watch out.
OKC handle business so SGA could get it. But those 3 teams, those young teams, even Denver is a team that you like, hey, I might have to choose Denver. They might have to go to 6 or 7. But
That's what I'm
a
saying. And then
Joker,
you play the Warriors at some point. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to face the guys, even though they're a lower seed, you do not want to face them. Like, again, Steph has seen it all, bro. Jimmy, people call it, bro, the man didn't seen it all. He didn't drag 2 teams to the finals. He's been in the finals just as much as Jason Tatum has in the East. And he's beat him both of those times to get there. So really think about who Jimmy Butler is as a player without all the other stuff. You know, really think about and you add that battery to what he's doing over there. That's why I get why Dre is popping it. You know what I mean? But I mean, I don't believe it, but I wouldn't want to play them. Like, again, if I'm Houston and they playing and they get to 7, I'm gonna be like, bruh, hold on now.
the pressure
Y'all
on
didn't
them.
tell me about this.
The pressure
Jimmy Butler hitting Tari and Jabari, and they doing this, and Stephen shot the ball from 80 feet with his eyes closed, and he do a night. I'm like, bro, Draymond barking at people, cussing people out. Jimmy, yeah, that's intense, bro.
Yo, that the playoffs is going to be a really, especially in the West, it's going to be a really, really, if you make it to the finals, whoever you are, it's going to be more than likely you're going through a gauntlet of teams to get there, especially if one of those 3 make it.
That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't be surprised somebody picked them to win in the East just because they had to go through hell to get there. On the Eastern side, one of my predictions, I think the Pistons gonna end up having home court advantage. I think they'll get a top 4
Hmm.
seed. I like how they've been playing. The Bucks, I feel not losing. They traded Chris, but I think it's gonna take a little time working in Kuzma. And I think they're gonna slip a couple games. They'll be a 5 or a 6 seed. The Pacers, I think they were like a 3-game winning streak, but they've been up and down this season. Score, oh yeah, they had a 50-point quarter. Then the next game, they might not score 50 the whole first half. Like
They
they've
didn't
been
play no
too,
defense. I don't think no one fears them.
they've been
Same with
too
Cleveland,
inconsistent.
unfortunately.
Too
Yeah.
inconsistent this year. So I think Detroit ends up messing around and getting that 4th seed. We see a 4 or 5 series. Maybe we see kind of a reigniting of that rivalry, Detroit, Indiana first round. And if
you
that
heard Tim
happens,
Hardaway talk about, you know what? You might be onto something, boy. I like that. Hey,
if
listen,
we
let's
see
call
it,
that. Let's get that.
if we see that, I got Detroit winning that series against
Yeah,
Indiana.
that's
So,
because they got nothing to lose. They not even supposed to be there.
and
You know what I
Indiana
mean? That's
doesn't
a
play
dub.
defense. I can see that's a series where K ended up messing around, averaging a triple-double his
That's what
first
I'm
playoff
saying.
series. So
And playing defense. Come on, bro. Talk about it. And I
exactly.
think too, even then, we didn't even mention the Knicks. I mean, now as of today, they're 0-7 against the top seeded teams in the league. So again, their record is not indicative on their dominance. Like, they can look good, but it's just a lot of things. They're half the time they're not healthy. They play sometimes a reckless way of playing. You know what I mean? It's like there's structure within it, but it's still kind of old school. Like, you know what I mean? Just in certain ways. But
Nah,
I mean,
Tibbs
they'll have to
ain't
get lucky.
upgrade. Tibbs has
Yeah,
not
they gonna
upgraded.
now his software, he's still running iOS 13 or something like that. Like, we gotta get him a new
Yeah.
iPhone, man. But
Unfortunately, shout out to my co-host Miles. He's a Knicks fan. I just don't see
shout out
it
to
for them.
Miles.
I don't see them doing it this year. That's an alarming stat. 0-7 against the
Yeah.
best teams.
That just shows
One-
you can't really get the job done. I mean, because think about it. If you look at the standings right now, the Knicks will play the Pistons in the first round. So even if the Knicks win, it ain't gonna look nice. You could win in 6, and depending on how that 6 looks, if they're close, I give them like 1 or 2 dominant games where it's back and forth. Then they win by 10, 15. Then I give them one where they barely win by 3 and they lose 2 because they didn't got blown out. You see what I mean? And then now in the second round, you got to end up playing Milwaukee or something like that. And it's like, you still don't want to play Giannis, bro. Like, that's still Giannis. And that's still Dame Lillard. And they're the sleeper team out east. To me, I think Milwaukee's a sleeper.
K's been cooking the Knicks every time he's seen them this year too. I think, like you said, Detroit and Milwaukee are sleepers. It's just Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee
And
more
then
sleeper.
Bobby's out too.
Yeah, we ain't gonna touch on that one. We're not gonna touch on that one, Bobby. Milwaukee.
Come on, dog.
Like you said, Giannis and Dame in the playoffs, that's not a matchup that you want to see. So
Nah.
depending on their matchup, it might work out for them or it might not work out for Milwaukee. I think with not having Bobby there, like you said, you got to figure out how to mix in Kyle Kuzma, get that chemistry going and things of that nature. They might slip a little bit. The East, it's the Celtics to lose, I feel, at this point. Everybody else is going. You might see a year where it's like the Hawks make it to the conference finals type year because outside of Boston, you might see Cleveland lose in the second round, and it's a team that we didn't expect to be there going against the Boston Celtics. So
they're just dominating and running up the East. I mean, people don't understand how hard it is to be that good, that consistently. Like, Jason Tatum's been at this since 2018. The only time they really had a down year was the 2021, I think it was, the year after the bubble. Because Jaylen Brown was hurt, and they played the Nets in that first round, and they got I think they lost in 5. But I mean, their full team wasn't healthy. Remember, they didn't have Jeff Teague was on that team, and it was like a big mix up in that 21 Celtics, and the league was just in a weird place at that time anyway. But I mean, for him to be in the conference finals 2018, 2020, 22, 23, 24, like, bro, that's hard to do. And people are just like, yeah, he's not the face of the NBA. I'm like, bro, he's one of the best winners in this league. Like, and people don't give him credit for that. It's just because he's so chill. You know what I mean? And they
he
just,
doesn't have the entertainment aspect and the off the court stuff.
It's like Tim Duncan.
He's kind of our modern era of Tim Duncan in regards of his personality and things of that nature.
He's just chilling,
lay back. Come here, do my job. Go home to my son. Go home to my baby mom, she singing me, she
Right,
making
right.
albums for me.
Hey man,
I'm
come on
good.
now. That's what I'm saying. He ain't worried about it.
We gonna end off the show. Drafting off of the players in the league right
Mhm.
now. Our
Right.
starting 5. You
All
are
right.
family, but you are the guest on the social. You get the first overall pick. Who are you taking? And it don't have to be point. It don't got to be shooting. Who's your first pick?
Oh man. Oh, okay, man. I thought I had to go that route. All right. With the number 1 pick, I'm gonna go with Nikola Jokic or Jokic, not Jokic. Jokic.
Rightfully so. Jokic as the number 1 pick. I will go with you go with Jokic. So I need somebody that's going to possibly deal with Jokic. Ain't not many people that could deal with Jokic either. I probably had to go. I'm gonna go Bam out of bio
I like that.
to match up with Jokic. Your
Okay.
next pick,
I'm gonna go with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
SGA. You got him at your point or your 2?
2.
You got him at the 2. Okay.
Yeah.
You got him at the 2. I am not going to be reactive off of every single pick you do, but you did mention Jokic, so I had to
You got to. Yeah.
had to figure that one out. Figure that one out right there. Let me get Cade. I got Cade at my
Ooh,
point.
that's tough. K that point. All right. If you're gonna go K that point, I'm thinking all offense. I need some defense. But it's just hard for me to counter. I gotta go Steph, man. I mean, he's a whole offense in itself. You know, you're gonna have to worry about a lot of that.
Steph, SGA, Jokic. That's already off to a solid. That's a solid big 3 right there. Like you said, we do need some defense possibly mixed in with this. We just was talking about my man's. I'm going with Tatum at my 3.
All right. Cross him out. All right. Change that up. All right. At my 3, I mean, I gotta go with LeBron James again. He got the answer to the test, bro.
Steph, Bron, SGA, Jokic. All right. I'm gonna go with another big for my 4. Let me get Giannis at the 4.
Oh, this guy, man. All right. Well, again, yeah, just gonna have to roll. I guess give me KD. I'll go with the Slim
Steph,
Reaper. He
Bron,
can lock up. He can lock up when he needs to, man. I need me a bucket getter when I need to break glass in case of emergency. If something ain't going right and y'all stifling us up, you standing up, step, bodying him up. Just throw the ball to him because I don't think anybody as of right now could guard him if I need to get that bucket. Maybe because I watch Quarter Gold. I don't know. That could be it too. I don't know.
Steph, KD, Jokic, SGA. That's a
and LeBron.
solid. That's a solid team right there. I got Cade, Tatum, Giannis, Bam. I got one more pick. Who am I picking
Choose
up
wisely.
in that spot right there? Because I do need Tatum could go get a bucket. Giannis, I need somebody that could get a bucket but also shoot that thing. Let me go. And he played D. I'm gonna go D Book.
Oh, I had him on there too. I thought you was gonna say Dante Exum, bro. No disrespect. Shout out to Dante Exum.
I have him in the rotation, but not with the
You gonna
starting.
have him in the rotation? That's crazy.
I have him. He'll be, you need every now and then somebody come in for 3 minutes into the, you feel me, end of the quarter.
All right, how about you get one more? Let's get it for real. You need a 6-man.
All right, cool. We get 6 man.
Yeah, get one 6-man.
All right, you got your 6-man pick.
Oh, man. Anthony Davis.
AD.
I'm going AD.
You got the length right there.
Yeah, we got. Yep.
No Diddy for anybody watching. No Diddy.
We got to watch out.
Dang. And y'all that's watching, we going off of the rosters right now. AD is coming back. That's why Wemby's not getting. Wemby's out for the season, so I can't choose Wemby, obviously. we would have put Wemby on the squad, but I can't.
100%, bro. Come on, don't play.
I can't have Wemby right there, so I couldn't go with that one. 6 man to mix it up. Dang, because 80s, that's a really 80 as your 6 man. Just that's like when he was on the Olympics. Him coming off the bench.
Do you see where I'm going? You see where I'm going?
Dang. Sheesh.
Come on, man.
Sheesh. What am I? We got Giannis and Bam. I think I'm gonna have to go. I am have to go. Dang, that's tough. AD off the bench is truly that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We talked about him earlier. More than likely the DPOY. Give me Jaren Jackson Jr. off the bench.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
He'll stretch the floor for me.
Yes.
So
Cade could find him for sure.
Cade could find him.
I just gotta hide Steph. That's the only thing. I gotta hide Steph. I gotta put him. I don't even know I can't put him on Book. You know, Book is more stationary. He don't move as much. But just if you get him an ISO, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, you know, I try to go big. I'm going at Steph head.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to add some. Dang. We're gonna have to play team defense. A lot of calling out, we got to ice a lot of stuff, bro. We're gonna have to be up there doing some zone. We're gonna be like, hey. A lot of switching.
Oh, for sure. Hey, we're gonna post this. We're gonna make the graphic, and y'all let us know which team y'all think will win in a 7-game series. Who do y'all think will win? If y'all choose the team that has Cade on it, that's not no problem, bro. It's not.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. He really liked that. You just gotta do your research. You gotta know ball. He really like they on a 5-game win streak. Come on, man. He's an all-star for a reason.
Facts, but hey, like you said, the defense aspect. That's why I couldn't pick Luka, because y'all gonna single him out. I think I got a pretty solid lineup where y'all can't just go attack one of these jokers. So
nah, and I like the depth, the balance you got.
I try to have some balance.
I'm going
that
for
Steph,
everything.
KD, Bron trio right there. That's gonna be a long series.
And Joker, Joker. So who we gonna double? Just let him go in, Bam. I'm gonna try to foul him out. Jaren usually come in the game with 5 fouls anyway.
Yeah.
So he'd be in the parking lot. When he put on his jersey, they already start adding up his fouls before tip off. Because you already know so this is what Jaren gonna do. He gonna miss a bunny at the rim, think he get fouled, then he gonna grab Steph and pick up his 3rd foul in the 2nd quarter, and you gonna be on the bench doing the Doc Rivers like really.
We don't wish this on nobody. But my hopes in that 7-game series, at some point, 80 pinky toe hurting, we good.
He better be on his little Joker show. He better be on that little prank show because he gonna play. I'm gonna be like, nah, bro. I'm gonna help him up. Like, bro, you better get back out there. Come on, man. We need you. I don't want you holding on to no leg, no limbs. If you fall, get right up. Come on, man.
That's the goal, hopefully. But y'all know the vibes here at the Bench Mob Entertainment Podcast. If you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready. And again, it's Chris Lindsey Hoops. Make sure y'all check him out. Follow, like, Threads, Instagram. He'll have a YouTube, all that. You'll find that out on his information. He'll have it posted. But y'all know the vibes. Like I said, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. We out. Peace.
Peace.